From Citizen TV, this is the Monday Report with Trevor Ombija.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with Citizen TV and Happy New Year, everybody. So the official shifts begin next week. That's when everybody else will be back, but I'm here now, so it's good to see you. We have a number here that is a bit worrying. 23 is our big number tonight. The last 5 days since the year began, Kenya has lost 23 people on the roads. That's about 5 people per day. It's a worrying statistics. We'll tell you what's going on there and what intervention should be done at a time when there are 9 more people who died in the Karai accident along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway. Very sad statistics there, and those are people, those are loved ones, and our condolences goes out to all those who lost their loved ones. But we'll take a special focus on the road carnage on the road. 23 is the number. Let's take a look at our top stories this evening.
Wakati tumefika Nakuru, driver alianza kuzidiwa na usingizi, tuseme, na uchovu. Kwa sababu wakati amefika Lwahaha, wakati ametoka Nairobi amefika Lwahaha, kama amegeuka anarudi Nairobi tena, na hakuwa na msaidizi.
More deaths on the road. 9 people killed after bus and a matatu collided at the Karai area in Naivasha, with survivors saying that the bus driver ignored repeated warnings to slow down.
The project was non-compliant on 4 more floors, which had been added to the original approved designs.
Only 12 floors were approved. Government accused contractor of the collapsed 16-floor South Sea building of violating regulation.
This year hata ni vitu itakosa kwa sababu watoto wengi wanaingia shule. Kwa hivyo ile kitu hatuna ni materials ziko na uhaba sana.
Getting ready for grade 10. Parents and learners flock uniform centers and bookshops ahead of the transition to grade 10.
We encourage the party leader to call for an internal spitting session to avoid the ongoing mudfest.
Which way ODM? Party official calls for an emergency ceasefire meeting following public outburst by Junet and Sifuna. Thanks for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Njoki Shege. I'm afraid I have some sad news here. The driver of a bus involved in a fatal accident at the Karai-Naivasha road may have been too exhausted to control the vehicle. The crash along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway on Sunday night left 9 people dead and 55 others injured after Nyahururu-bound 14-seater matatu collided head-on with a Green Line bus. Mirai Nyambura will be giving you the details in just a bit, but she indicates that more than 20 Kenyans have died in the road accidents just 5 days into the new year. And the number is 23. That is about 5 people per day since the year began. We'll give you details of that story in just a bit. But for now, let's talk about something else here. And it's more about Monday marks the official opening of the 2026 school calendar, with millions of learners across the country reporting back to class. Now, parents flocked markets, uniform stores and bookshops in a last-minute rush as teachers made final preparations ahead of the first term. Emily Chabet has more.
After a 2.5-month break, learners across the country have officially begun the first term. The first to report back are those under the 844 system and junior secondary school learners, as grade 10 students prepare to turn a new page when they report to various schools next week Monday. At Kisii Comprehensive School, the lessons are already underway.
Walimu wameingia madarasani, wamechukua roll call ya wanafunzi wale ambao wameingia na kazi imeanza. Naambia wale wazazi bado hawajaleta watoto shuleni wawalete, kwa sababu syllabus yetu ni refu sana. Ndio tuweze kukamilisha mapema. Watu wakienda kwa mtihani ipate ya kwamba tumecover the syllabus.
Litein Primary School in Kericho County opened its doors to learners, even as their secondary school counterparts, Litein boys, streamed in with their belongings after they were forced to carry everything following a strike late last year.
Percentage of learners who reported today is 80%. Teachers, it is 100%. Mine are matching the parents. So I'm not release the learners to school.
We as the parents and the community, we are here to support them, and we want to urge any parent who has a child at home that they are lacking behind, because already the syllabus are going on.
At Uhuru Market along Jogoo Road, it is a familiar rush as parents scramble to beat the clock. Uniforms, books, shoes and bags topping the list as the 2026 academic calendar officially begins. The traders saying the year has begun on a high note compared to last year when there were no Form 1s or any transition.
Kuna kuanga na kuanzia wale wa baby class na wale wako JSS na kuna wale wako senior school. So wale watu wengi wako tuseme saa hizi ni watu wa senior na JSS ndio wengi. Na pia wale wanaingia pia wako wengi. Hatuwezi sema hata wa changes. Kuna wengine na change school from one school to another.
This year hata ni vitu itakosa kwa sababu watoto wengi wanaingia shule. Kwa hivyo ile kitu hatuna ni materials ziko na uhaba sana. Kwa sababu zingine lazima zitoke local companies na zingine zitatoka China. You see, kama saa hii ukienda kama China, si unajua wanaenda vacation. Ukioda kitu saa hii haiwezi kuja haraka. Maybe after February ndio utapata mzigo yako. Lakini tunangangana na zile local materials available.
As the new year begins and a new school calendar kicks off, parents and learners are hopeful that the government will continue to streamline the competency-based education system for the smooth running of schools. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV.
They said back to school matters and parents of students set to join senior secondary schools across the country continue to throng various schools of their choice in an attempt to place their children in preferred institutions amid ongoing challenges with the placement system. In Kiambu County, parents spent the better part of the day camped at the main gates of Mary Hill and Mangu Boys High School, hoping to secure chances for their children. And as Crispin Otieno now reports, Kuppet officials in Kisii have raised the alarm just days before grade 10 students report to their respective schools.
Monday morning in Nyangusu along the border of Kisii and Transmara, Chacha Nyaigoti apparent in agony. His twins are set to join a senior school of their choice after a stellar KGCEA performance. Nyaigoti says efforts to place their twin sons in their school of choice may fall flat after the placement system rejected their transfer request.
Sasa kitu ambacho changamoto kubwa ni ile kwamba hawa watoto wameitwa shule tofauti na sasa wangependelea kwenda shule moja. Ombi langu kama mzazi ni kwamba hilo pendekezo liweze kushughulikiwa kwa njia tofauti kwa sababu system yenyewe haitambui watoto ambao ni mapacha. The pupils who are twins, system iwatambui.
He says despite extensive consultations with the ministry officials, their request is yet to be granted.
Lakini pia tukipitia katika mkondo ambao tumepitia hapo awali, maybe the system tena itakataa.
He is not alone. In Kiambu County, hundreds of parents throng Mangu and Mary Hill schools in a similar bid to secure chances for their children, saying the placement system needs urgent streamlining.
Na pengine in future pengine tungeomba serikali iweze ku make sure hii system ni streamlined so that wazazi wasihangaike vile wanahangaika kwa sababu hii umati naona hapa nafikiri hata ni wengi kuliko wale ambao walikuwa wamechukuliwa na hii shule.
Ingekuwa kama kitambo, wajua kitambo watu walikuwa na placeiwa, ulikuwa unafanyia placement na kila mzazi anaridhika, lakini sasa hii watu wa grade 9 hatukuwa tunaona mambo kama hii, atakuja kutafuta shule ulikuwa unaridhika wakati wa 844. So I believe wacha tujaribu tuone kama tutapata, tujitafutie sasa ile placement walifanya hiyo tuachane nayo, sasa tujifanyie placement sasa.
This comes even as the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers Kuppet Kisii branch weighed in on the glaring infrastructural and staffing challenges expected during the senior school transition.
The first challenge will be the challenge of workload and shortage of teachers in senior school. Now that we will be having two schools in one, we will be teaching both CBC and the 844. There are subjects which do not have teachers. Then the other issue is that the letters that the learners received to join grade 10 were not specific on which pathway the learners were to pursue. So we need the career masters to be trained as urgently as possible to help this process of transition.
As confusion continues to dog parents and learners, grade 10 students are expected to report to their respective schools starting 12th January. Crispin Otieno, Citizen TV.
Let's go back to our top story now. And the driver of a bus involved in a fatal accident at Karai, Naivasha, may have been too exhausted to control the vehicle. The crash along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway on Sunday night left 9 people dead and 55 others injured after Nyahururu-bound 14-seater matatu collided head-on with a Green Line bus. As Marian Nyambura now reports, more than 20 Kenyans have died in road accidents just 5 days into the new year.
At the Naivasha Sub-County Hospital, patients who are admitted with serious injuries hours after a road accident at Karai along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway are undergoing treatment. The bus they were traveling in collided head-on with a Nyahururu-bound 14-seater matatu belonging to Nanyuki Cabs shuttle. 9 people died. Some say the Green Line bus driver was tired and that conductors tried to keep him engaged after boarding in Luahaha, Kakamega County.
So tumekuja, but wakati tumefika Nakuru, driver alianza kuzidiwa na usingizi tuseme na uchovu. Kwa sababu wakati amefika Luahaha, wakati ametoka Nairobi amefika Luahaha kama amegeuka anarudi Nairobi tena. Na hakuwa na msaidizi, so amekuwa mwenyewe. Na hiyo gari imekuwa inakuja mwendo wa kasi sana. So wakati amefika Nakuru, hizi mataa za gari zingine zikaanza kumlemea. So anafika mahali ana slow.
Doreen McKenna and her child who suffered a broken leg are among the patients hospitalized in Naivasha.
Nilijipata chini, mtoto alikuwa chini ya watu wote wenye walikuwa huko juu. Sasa mimi kuanza kujiokoa, kuangalia wengine wako sawa, kuinuka huku huyu alikuwa chini kabisa ya wengine. Naishi uchungu sana njoo sasa huyu mtoto kitambo harundi akue kama kawaida itakuwa ni shida.
Doreen, a mother of 3, was traveling from Western connecting to Nairobi and onward to Meru. She was rushing home to prepare her children for school this week. She says the journey from Luahaha in Kakamega to Nairobi was bumpy.
Gari hata ilikuwa na uchafu, hata ilikuwa imefagilia uchafu kutoka Nairobi juu. Mimi bila nilikuwa tuliingia gari ilipita na ikarundi, tukaingia gari nikajiuliza kwani gari yenye imepita hapa sasa ndio tumewekwa ndani. Tukakuja na tikiti tulikata 3,200 na tujaikata pesa kama hiyo tena. Sasa nimejipata hapa hata mimi sielewi nifanye nini.
At the male wards, Peter Ngugi, who suffered a leg fracture, is among survivors who had boarded the Nyahururu-bound matatu. He was traveling from Mombasa to Nyahururu to attend a relative's burial.
Driver wetu alikuwa akimbii. Alikuwa anaenda na speed ya 60. Sababu nilikuwa naangalia kwa simu, sababu mimi ni mgeni hii barabara. Sasa nilikuwa nakuja nikiangalia kwa simu mahali tuko na speed yenye tunaenda. Lakini baada ya muda ndio tulisikia tu driver wetu amekanyaga brake emergency. Kanyaga emergency. Hapo ndio tukasikia sasa tumegongana na gari.
55 patients were treated at the facility. 43 adults and 13 children under the age of 5.
Most of them had minor injuries. They were treated and discharged. And so far, this time we have only we have 2 in theater who are being done debridement, and we have 2 remaining here in casualty.
Roads Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir among government officials asking motorists to exercise caution and due care.
For parents, help us as we enforce the safety requirements on our roads by ensuring that we do board vehicles which are properly licensed vehicles, which are not overloading.
I am advising a motorist to plan their travel on time so that they are not moving on an hurry.
5 days into the year, more than 20 people have died in road crashes across the country, with scores injured. On January 1st, several passengers were injured after a Janan bus lost control at Taita village along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway. On January 2nd, 8 people died at Katumani along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway when a 14-seater matatu collided head-on with a bus. On 3rd of January, 6 people died at Kikope along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway when a truck rammed a 14-seater matatu. On January 4th, 9 people died at Karai along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway when a bus collided head-on with a 14-seater matatu. Marian Nyambura, Citizen TV.
Now to the developing story of the South Sea building collapse. The government says that the developer is to blame for adding 4 unapproved floors to the original 12. Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says preliminary investigations reveal clear violations of the approved plans, with the developer failing to follow due process. The developer and contractor, Abian Consulting Limited, disputes those claims, insisting that the project was supervised at all times by licensed architects, engineers and government agencies. Meanwhile, the search and rescue operation for the missing security guard still continues. Gatete Njoroge has the details.
4 days and still counting, South Sea Shopping Centre remains a scene of tragedy. Rescue teams continue to comb through the rubble, searching for a missing security guard, a day after his colleague was found dead. With questions lingering over what caused the collapse, Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says it is a stark case of impunity catching up.
At the time of the incident, the project was non-compliant on 4 more floors, which had been added to the original approved designs, meaning from 12 to 16 floors. That is the beginning of the problem.
With all indications pointing to a possible case of professional negligence, Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says the response will go beyond arrests and prosecution, warning that those responsible could also be stripped of their professional licenses in a bid to clean up an industry long plagued by allegations of malpractice.
I will deregister if I'm told that the contractor was the problem. I will deregister the contractor. I will suspend the license of the architect if I find through the report that he went 3 other floors or 1 extra floor without approval by NCA.
Wahome has provided the names of all professionals who were involved in the project and whose statements are crucial in the next phase of investigations. They include the developer, Abian Consulting Limited, architect Gideon Chege Mwangi, structural engineer, Engineer Kireru Peter Kimani, quantity surveyor, James Kireka Njoroge, contractor, Abian Consulting Limited. The government says it carried out 4 quality assurance inspections in 2024, the last being in August. When the building then was at the 3rd floor, it was reportedly within the approved plans. But a county government visit in 2025 revealed the construction of an unauthorized 13th floor. Attempts to inspect the building were reportedly met with resistance, prompting action against 3 individuals at the site, although the charges were later dropped.
We do not have very good punishment regulations. And we are in the process of amending. In fact, my draft for amendment of the NCA Act is ready, so that supporting it with the new building code, we will be in a better place to work on the rogue contractors.
The developers have broken their silence in a press statement. Abian Consulting Limited has refuted claims of violating the building codes. In their statement, they say the project was at all times supervised by licensed architects and engineers. They further state that during the lifespan of the project, county and national agencies undertook the required supervisions, and at no time did they ever receive any stop order from the county government or any other regulatory body. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Let's talk about politics now, into the wrangles within the Orange Democratic Movement, where a section of party leaders are calling for an emergency meeting to cool the rising tension in the party following a public war of words among its senior members. This comes as Migori Senator Eddie Oketch wrote to the party seeking the immediate suspension and removal of Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna as ODM Secretary General, accusing him of indiscipline and undermining the broad-based government. Emmanuel To has the details.
The deepening rift within the Orange Party has now drawn in a section of ODM members of parliament. In a statement led by ODM Deputy Chairperson and Rarieda MP Dr. Otiende Amolo, the lawmakers condemned the ongoing public infighting among senior party officials, singling out the war of words between ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and Minority Leader Junet Mohamed.
We urge the party officials, including Secretary General Senator Edwin Sifuna and the National Assembly Minority Leader, Honorable Junet Mohamed, to desist from public verbal slurs and return to the table for internal discussions.
The legislators are now urging ODM party leader Dr. Oburu Oginga to convene a crisis meeting aimed at reining in members accused of fueling divisions within the party.
We encourage the party leader to call for an internal spitting session to avoid the ongoing mudfest.
The theatrics that we are doing here is not helpful, and it is unfortunate coming just 2 months after Baba has died.
Sentiments also echoed by the ODM Deputy Party Leader Abdul Somad Sherif Nasir, who called for tolerance.
People is sort of talking with each other, they're talking at each other. That is not the politics we want in this country.
This comes as Migori Senator Eddie Okech wrote to the ODM party seeking the removal of his Secretary General and Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna from office, alleging gross misconduct. Among the grounds Okech is building his case upon includes claims that Sifuna has publicly denied the party's involvement in the broad-based government and that Sifuna has associated himself with the opponent political parties such as DCP and DAP Kenya, and that he has undermined the party leader Dr. Oburu Oginga and thus frustrated the growth of the party. In his letter, Okech further wants the party to immediately suspend Sifuna's ODM Secretary General, de-whip him from all parliamentary leadership positions, strike his name from the party register, and begin disciplinary proceedings against Sifuna.
Mr. Ovino, you asked whether there's a plan to have a National Management Committee meeting or an NDC to discuss the conduct of the Secretary General. As we have said here, first, none of us is aware of any such planned meeting so far.
We are creating a lot of confusion with our membership. We are concerned about the curious emergence, concurrent and strategic emergence of small parties and entities in our hitherto strongholds. And in politics, there are no accidents or coincidences.
The coming days will be crucial as divorce proceedings beckon. As the implosion in the ODM party continues, millions of supporters who have built the party with sweat and blood continue to wait with bated breath for the next course of action. This as time ticks towards next year's general election. Emmanuel Tao, Citizen TV, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
So about other miracles now, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has distanced itself from miracle healing claims made by controversial preacher David Owuor. According to NCCK, no individual preacher holds divine authority over healing. The church's body is cautioning Kenyans to be very wary of such claims. The council further emphasized that healing, whether spiritual or physical, cannot be monopolized, insisting that preachers should only focus on preaching and only God can heal. Jimmy Mbogo has the details.
Jesus heals. The doctors must verify medically.
It is at this crusade that controversial preacher David Owuor made assertions which have grabbed headlines, alarming medical professionals and policymakers after he claimed to have cured serious medical conditions, including HIV and cerebral disorder, during public crusades. His sentiments drawing the attention of the Ministry of Health as well as the umbrella body for churches, which has been alarmed by the claims. The National Council of Churches of Kenya says, although healing is divine, the place of medicine and scientific treatment is key.
We believe in faith healing. We believe it is not pastors who heal. We believe it is God who heals. And we believe that God also chooses who he heals at a particular time. So nobody should deprive people of going to the known medical solutions for their health. We would want to say that those who are doing it are not doing the right thing.
Church leaders seemingly agreeing that the controversy has exposed a regulatory vacuum in Kenya's religious landscape. According to Reverend Elias Otieno, the chair of the NCCK, while long-established denominations operate under umbrella organizations with internal oversight mechanisms, many independent churches function without institutional accountability. This imbalance, he argues, has allowed room for religious distortion.
We know that there are some churches that have formed and are not under any regulatory body. They are churches that are operating, and it is a one-man church.
The church now saying there is need for regulation, which should be done in consultation with religious institutions.
It will be a common thing that will be regulating the operations of religious institutions. Well, I hear some people say it is going to stop us to preach, it is going to stop us to do this. Those are issues of interpretation.
Despite calls from the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Eden Duale, for medical practitioners caught in the saga to substantiate the claims of healing or face deregistration, investigations are yet to begin on whether the claims made can be scientifically proven.
My name is Elijah Ochieng.
My name is Dr. Lerionka Albert. My name is Dr. Erimoy Kibet. My name is Dr. John Mureithi.
The Kenya Medical Practitioner and Dentist Council has called on patients not to discontinue their medication unless with express authorization from their doctors. Preacher Owuor insists his miracle healings are real and that he has 30 people who have been healed from HIV and AIDS. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Away from the miracles, let's talk about evidence. Now, Citizen TV has obtained CCTV footage capturing the violent altercation involving Embakasi East National Assembly Member of Parliament Babu Owino and Kileleshwa MCA Robert Alai. The footage shows the MCA drawing what seems like a firearm during the scuffle. However, Alai has since denied the allegations, insisting that he never brandished a weapon. Ode Francis with this special report.
At exactly 4:01 p.m., Honorable Babu Owino is seen rising from his seat at Gazebo 1 and walking over to Gazebo 2, where Robert Alai is seated with a group of 6 men. The initial interaction appears cordial, handshakes are exchanged, and brief words are shared. But at 2 minutes and 32 seconds into the footage, Alai is seen abruptly shoving Babu. Within seconds, a physical scuffle breaks out. The situation escalates dramatically, and what seems like a firearm is drawn by Alai. The footage captures a possible safety disengagement of the weapon, what is commonly referred to as cocking the gun. It led to the MCA's gun being taken away. By 4:09 p.m., a visibly distressed female patron approaches, seemingly attempting to calm the situation. But instead of de-escalating, Alai turns his aggression towards her, striking her, the nearby clan seen protecting her in full view of other patrons. The confrontation spills over to Gazebo 3 by 4:10 p.m., with the scuffle continuing for nearly 2 more minutes. Finally, the two are seen seated together and talking, and Alai is seen throwing something at Babu Owino. Later, Babu Owino is seen exiting the premise through Gate 1. Alai denied drawing any weapon, despite what was seen captured on CCTV.
I think he was trying to exert dominance, which it was not working. And so he stood up and pushed it, and when I stood up, I think some people thought so that because I was wearing a shirt, there was a visible gun, and so they took the gun. So because of the altercation between me and him, people, I think the hotel, the restaurant, called the police. There was no instance where we drew guns at each other, like it's being said, or I drew gun on him. I don't think that it's a very fair analysis of the situation.
Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
All right, let's take a quick break here on Monday Report. We're back with much more in just a short while.
Coming up, low inflation, a steady shilling and privatization define Kenya's economic performance in 2025.
Wakati mwingine uchafu unaweza kutufundisha ubunifu, na ndio maana ninatumia omo mpya yenye viondoa madoa asili ambavyo hupenya ndani zaidi na kuyafikia madoa sugu yaloshindikana na kuyaondoa.
Msimu wa Krismasi ni msimu wa kuja pamoja kusherekea. Chakula kitamu ni kiungo muhimu sana kwa raha ya familia. Asante wa Kenya kwa kuchagua unga wa Raha Premium Kavagara, Raha Premium Ngano na Joymax Mwivoko Flour na kutufanya kuwa nambari 1 kote nchini. Asante sana kwa distributors na wauzaji wetu wote Kenya nzima kwa kuhakikisha kuna raha katika kila familia. Joy Millers Limited inakutakia Krismasi iliyo na raha na mwaka mpya wenye mafanikio.
Experience the power of the ultimate glow in our new revitalizing formula. With 3 times more oil-infused serum, Vaseline Lotions penetrates and restores your skin's natural moisture from within, while boosting your natural glow on the outside. No need to add extra oils or glycerin. Feel the difference. See the power of the ultimate glow. New Vaseline Lotions.
Meeting Nelson Mandela, that was spiritual, that was overwhelming. It was just breathtaking. Did Daniel Arap Moi put you in jail for that? I told him the Karura story. And he asked whether I had been detained for it. Because those were the times that some of those stories can end you up in detention. I told him, no, I was never detained.
Watch this story and more. Download the Citizen Digital app or visit www.citizendigital.com and find the Citizen Originals portal.
Kenya's #1 app, Citizen Digital.
Experience the power of the ultimate glow in our new revitalizing formula. With 3 times more oil-infused serum, Vaseline Lotions penetrates and restores your skin's natural moisture from within, while boosting your natural glow on the outside. No need to add extra oils or glycerin. Feel the difference. See the power of the ultimate glow. New Vaseline Lotions.
Oski niko na mango passion, apple na ka tropical. Oski niko na
Mod, assisi city girl, and I set it for you. Don't gonna juicy vibes, some passion for two. Masose masambu, twezi kosa poka juice. Yangu ikujeka iko cool, neza donjwa po kwa pool. You want a mango one, come take it from me. Apple na kuja nae, so you juice it for me. So you juice it for me, so you juice it for me. Can you juice, so you juice, and you juice it for me.
Usinishike mimi. Sikuachilia hadi uniambie chenye nadai kujua. Na nisipokuambia utanifanya nini? Vuruga design hujaivurugwa.
Get up to 50% off on back to school essentials, uniforms and more. Start strong, save smart. Give your child a champion start to the school year. Naivas saves you money.
Thank Thank you for staying with the Monday Report. Now, learning came to a standstill on Monday at Lorumoru Primary School in Baringo County after the Kenya Forest Service demolished the institution on Saturday night, saying that it sits on a gazetted forest land. The agency, which has pledged to relocate the school, says it was illegally built within Makutani Forest, raising conservation concern. But as Kamau Mwangi now reports, parents want the school rebuilt, citing its key role in promoting peace and cohesion among 3 local communities.
Caved-in classrooms and the hollow remains of what once housed the school's administration. Haunting scenes that greeted pupils and teachers as they reported for the first day of the new school calendar at the Lorumoru Primary School in Baringo South. The destruction is the aftermath of a Saturday night demolition carried out by the Kenya Forest Service, which maintains that the learning institution was built on gazetted forest land.
I'm left wondering, hao watoto watasoma wapi ama kwamba shule imebomolewa? These are state property. Na kwa mtu mwenyewe itakaa aje? That means hata wenye wanaishi area hii wanaishi kwa mshtuko. Anything can happen to them.
Shule imefungwa mara 3 tangu ianzishwe 1985. Sasa imefungwa ikafunguliwa ikafungwa ikafunguliwa. So mara ya mwisho kufunguliwa ilikaa sasa karibu 12 kwa sababu ya mzozo ya maneno ya insecurity.
The Forestry Department says it acted on the 2016 gazettement of Mukutani as a forest by then Environment Cabinet Secretary Judy Wahungu, a move that placed a disputed 5-acre parcel where the school stands deep within the 13,000-hectare forest. In a statement, Baringo County Forest Conservator Anna Nyaoke told Citizen TV that the school's construction was done illegally, but nevertheless, the Forestry Service was ready to relocate the school outside the gazetted area. The demolition attracting the ire of a section of Baringo leaders.
Hakuna kitu inaitwa Mukutani Forest. Na kama iko, nataka nione beacons imeanzia wapi mpaka wapi.
Na kama serikali wanakuja kupomoa, wanapeana notice kuambatana na sheria. Sasa hii wanakuja kupomoa usiku na kuiva vitu na kupasua vyakula, unapasua chakula na kumwaka.
At the time of its demolition, the school had a total population of 85 pupils, running from PP1 to grade 2. Irate parents who could not stomach their frustrations have called for the rebuilding of the learning facility that is being credited with bringing about peaceful coexistence among the Pokot, Ilchamus and Tugen communities that reside here.
Tuko mwaka 2 saa hii bila maneno. Na watu wengine melete saa hii. Sasa hii ni kazi gani? Tumefanya kazi ya bure kutengeneza amani area hii.
Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV.
Now, since January of 2025, Kenya's economic storyline has been one of numerous ups and downs. For the last 12 months, headline inflation eased into single digits, remaining well within the central bank's target range. The shilling remained questionably stable, trading in a narrow range against the dollar. During the period, the government also moved to make good its commitment of selling state-owned enterprises, with the most notable transaction being the announcement of its plan to offload 15% of its Safaricom stake to fund infrastructure and reduce borrowing pressure. And as Jimmy Mbogo now reports, the interplay of those 3 threads shaped markets, policy choices, and even public debate through 2025.
2025 was an year of contrast. On one hand, you have policymakers who believe that the policies they're making for the economy are pushing the economy towards the right direction. On the other hand, you have economic analysts who believe that the policies that are being made are not right for the economy. My name is Jimmy Mbogo, and this is my reflection of the year 2025 and everything that happened in the economy. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that for the better part of 2025, inflation has remained well anchored within the target range of 5 plus or minus 2.5%. In the first quarter of the year, inflation averaged at about 3.5% before increasing in the second quarter to average at about 3.8%. In the third quarter, however, inflation rose slightly to average at about 4.4% before rising further in the last quarter of the year to average at about 4.6%. But does this translate to a low cost of living for Kenyans? According to the National Treasury Principal Secretary Dr. Chris Kiptoo, low inflation has translated to low commodity prices in comparison to 2023, but admitting that more could be done to lighten the burden on Kenyans.
So yes, that is still an issue. We think that more could be done to improve the income levels of Kenyans. And that's the aspirations. When you hear we want to up our ambition to be a first world country, that what are we saying? We're talking about per capita income. When we talk about per capita income for Kenya now at $140 billion, you're talking about 2,000 shillings around there. But you know, a country, about 2,000 maybe dollars. But you know, other countries like, you know, Singapore and others, you know, you're talking about over $50,000 per year, I mean, per capita income. So to reach there, means there's a lot that we have to do.
But experts disagree. Although inflation remained well within the central bank target range, economic analysts say inflation is merely one side of the coin. Ken Gishinga, an economist from Mentoria, argues that low inflation rate that the country has experienced in 2025 is largely due to a subdued demand owing to weak economy, where demand has been weakened. Gishinga faults the country's monetary policy for only focusing on price stability and ignoring damning data on employment.
So there's a big trade-off between inflation and unemployment. So the problem in Kenya, as I've said times without number, it's not really inflation, but it's unemployment. In fact, we're approaching a place where the demand is so weak that businesses cannot sustain their normal customers, and some of them have to shut down.
In 2025, it wasn't just inflation that remained stable. The Kenyan currency also remained stable for the better part of the year, raising questions including from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. In 2025, the Kenya shilling traded at a surprisingly tight corridor, a development that Treasury officials attributed to stronger foreign currency inflows, improved liquidity from exports, and a surge in diaspora remittance. The narrow trading range calmed importers and reduced pass-through pressures to domestic prices. However, stability led to suspicion from multilateral institutions.
One of the things the IMF told us when they were in town 2 weeks ago is that the exchange rate is too, that they think it is interfering with the transmission and that it is interfering with inflation targeting.
A concern that has also been expressed by economists who warned that foreign exchange market was overly static and characteristic of a floating exchange rate, but the government has insisted that the stability seen this year is likely to continue.
So if you look at it all, it just points to the stability being pointing to mandate of the shilling, at least to ensure that it's within the current levels. And why do I think it's been managed? The restoration of the FX interbank markets and the impact of all this is at least to ensure that our external debt services is certain.
We stick to our long-held stance on non-interference, and again, you know, we don't. We have not told banks not to hold their to stick to a particular exchange rate level, and I think as a way of it's just testing the market. You know, to go and see if you have some dollars with you, see whether you can go and sell those dollars at even 131 or 132 shillings to the dollar.
The economy has done well, and you can see exports of goods have performed well. You will see we have had foreign exchange inflows from coffee, tea, and other commodities that we sell. Our export receipts from services have also done well, particularly from tourism. and other services, you can see that there have been a growth in revenue, in foreign exchange. And more importantly, we have had a 6% increase in remittances over the last 1 year, for instance.
Faced with a high debt level and competing development priorities, 2025 saw the National Treasury accelerate its divestiture from key state-owned enterprises. Among the high-profile privatization drive of 2025 was the proposal by the government to offload a 15% stake in Safaricom in exchange for 245 billion shillings to serve as the seed capital for the infrastructure and foreign wealth funds, a move that experts believe was not prudent.
In this particular version of divestment, it's a bit strange because I think, number one, first of all, you want to begin with the loss-making entities before you actually reach the highly profitable entities. You want to offload as many of loss-making entities. Number two, the proceeds of those sales, in as much as they go into the national infrastructure, there are more needs that a country has for those funds beyond infrastructure.
But according to Treasury officials, this was informed by the need to finance development, particularly in agriculture, through the construction of dams, roads and the energy sector to power industrialization, while reducing the need for fresh borrowing.
This National Infrastructure Fund is going to get the initial capitation from the proceeds of privatization and divestiture. We are targeting about 600 billion shillings. Already we have identified over 300 billion shillings from KPC and divestiture of Safaricom alone. That will give us close to 350, or at minimum 300, maybe and 20.
But what are we saying? The departure from the other privatization is that the proceeds that we received from other privatizations that we undertook went to finance the budget. This time around we have said no, we don't want to sell, get money and put in the budget, and then we spend. We want to leverage the money that comes in through the infrastructure fund, which is being set up, so that if we say we raise $3 billion, we can leverage up to 10 times that amount.
Going into 2026, the government says it is optimistic that interest rates will continue to fall, allowing credit to flow to the private sector. Analysts have expressed concerns over the new NSSF rates, which they fear will further strain the wallet of Kenyans. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Coming up, from climate-smart innovations to bold agribusiness ideas, how Kenyan farmers transformed food production in 2025.
Sometimes I need a fragrance to keep me calm, stays fresh in the heat and feels elegant into the night, lasting longer than expensive perfumes. New Downy, lavender calm, sunrise fresh and sweet elegance, freshness that inspires confidence.
Teke na Wigo Boda. Chanua Jam, fika on time at the lowest charges in town. Vaa helmet and ride in style. Ni safi, ni safe, na ni easy kwa mfuko yako. Wigo, your trusted ride. Download the app now. Ama SMS Wigo to 20425. Ndio ufike right on time. Wigo, your trusted ride.
Lazima niakire kumchuzi mix kwa githeri. Reko mchuzi mix unafry pia kwa chipo. Chakula yoyote unaweza weka reko mchuzi mix. Reko mchuzi mix. Sika kama wewe.
Kenya ni kujitambua na kujua kila moment inaweza kuwa ile moment. Pali stranger ukuwa rafiki. Tunauza na kuinspire. Tuko connected kutoka mashinani hadi kwa streets, na tukitokea tunatokea wote. Na kama tumefika hapa, bali tunaenda ni mbali zaidi. Hapa hatungoji, tunasonga nayo. Na kesho kama leo tutakuwa pamoja popote ulipo. Safaricom.
Are you a Kenya government civil servant na uko na ka emergency? Maybe your child is sick, rent is due, or unexpected trip came up. Usijibox kwa noma. Borrowing on MyMobi is now upgraded to a whole new level. Forget that old story of filling out forms or waiting for HR to approve your loan. MyMobi is now instant self-approval. Simply apply for your loan, enter the code sent through SMS to approve the loan, and the cash hits your M-Pesa instantly. Sasa, hakuna mambo ya payroll imefungwa. Sort noma zako anytime, any day. Whether it's a weekend, holiday, or the middle of the month, MyMobi is open 24/7. Dial *531# and get up to 20,000 shillings to sort your emergency. Repayment is easy. Pay early via M-Pesa or let it be deducted from your next payslip. The choice is yours. No paperwork, no drama. Ni wewe tu na simu yako. With MyMobi, now you're in control.
Acha buzz mingi. Bring what you got. Kuonyeshe who's boss. Reclaim your home. Rated strikes like lightning. Kills Dudu's dead. Available in stores countrywide.
Discover futuristic education at the Rufine Field Group of Schools, home of excellence. We nurture individual talents while maintaining high academic standards with our experiential learning. Our campuses offer day and boarding CBE programs with the Diani and Utawala International campuses offering the complete journey from early years through A levels. And now introducing Rufine Senior with all pathways and Rufine Sixth Form providing pre-university courses. The Rufine Field Group of Schools.
Usinishike mimi. Sikuachilia hadi uniambie chenye nadai kujua. Na sipokuambia utanifanya nini? Vuruga design hujaivurugwa.
Get up to 50% off on back-to-school essentials, uniforms, and more. Start strong, save smart. Give your child a champion start to the school year. Naivas saves you money.
Welcome back. So a post-mortem examination conducted today on the body of a 14-year-old Dennis Iringa, who was shot dead by a police officer in Mombasa on New Year's Eve, has established that the deceased was shot from the rear, with the bullet entering through the left posterior shoulder region and exiting anteriorly. The examination further revealed that the projectile fractured the left shoulder bone and adjacent ribs and caused extensive damage to major veins, resulting in injuries incompatible with life.
Pain is what describes how this family started their year. This is after their 14-year-old son was fatally shot by a police officer who was in company of his colleague on a motorbike as Kenyans ushered in the new year.
Toto wangu sasa ameuawa mimi na polisi. Huyo ndo alikuwa tegemeo langu mimi.
5 days after the killing of Dennis Iringa, a post-mortem examination has been conducted to reveal the cause of his untimely death.
Majibu tumeweza kupata na ni risasi moja peke yake ambayo iliweza kuingia kwa nyuma na kutoka kwa mbele. inaonyesha wazi ya kwamba yule kijana alipigwa na risasi wakati anajaribu kujikimbiza ama kusaidia maisha yake.
The deceased family is demanding accountability and justice, with activists joining in the call for a full, impartial and expeditious investigation into the circumstances surrounding the shooting which occurred in Utange.
Nataka hao wenye walifanya uhalifu washika kwa haraka sana. Sitaki ichelewe hii kesi, manake juu mimi naumia tu saa yote.
Kwa hivyo tunataka haraka iwezekanavyo tuwaone hawa polisi wauaji ambao wanaua watoto, ambao wanasherehekea mwaka mpya. Hawa polisi wakamatwe haraka iwezekanavyo, wafunguliwe mashtaka, tuwaone korokoroni.
Human rights organizations have condemned the incident, characterizing it as a grave violation of the right to life. Anne Mwenda, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
So Kenya's farmers have spent 2025 transforming how they grow food, from climate-smart innovations to bold new agribusiness ideas. In this end of the year special, our reporter Dennis Otieno takes us across counties to show the shifts, struggles and breakthroughs shaping the country's food future. It's a journey that reveals not just how farmers are adapting, but how agriculture itself is redefining Kenya's next decade. Here's Citizen TV's Dennis Otieno with his end of year 2025 review.
My name is Dennis Otieno, and this has been my year on the road. It's a year spent on dusty farm roads, in greenhouses, dairy sheds, and sometimes in places where the land is unproductive, but farmers turn to what I would call ingenious ways to make things work. If there's one thing that defined 2025, it was adaptation. Rainfall patterns changed and input prices strained farmers. But everywhere I went, I witnessed a quiet transformation. In Kiambu County, I met farmers who had turned pits and mulching into survival tools.
There was need for a way, rather method of using very minimal water, that is saving on water, saving on labor in terms of weeding, and also in terms of controlling pests and diseases. So we saw a need to introduce controlled environment, rather greenhouse farming, and going further on, by using mulching as a technology to complement, the farming process.
Ukishapea maji asubuhi unapea jioni. Kazi ya greenhouse inaweka maji, ukipatia maji asubuhi inaweka na mimea inakuwa sawa. Imenisaidia kwa sababu hakuna wadudu wanakuja kwa greenhouse, iko poa kabisa. Kwa sababu maji ukipatia tu inaweka hapo, haiendi pahali. Na inakuwa greenhouse inakuwa smart.
Researchers in the country also unveiled 5 new sorghum varieties that either escape or repel birds, promising to end years of frustration for smallholder farmers who have suffered massive post-harvest losses.
And the mechanism we have used now to come up with this solution is that when the sorghum is bitter or when the tannins are high, the birds don't feed on the sorghum. So our sorghums have high tannins when they are at milk stage. And that is the critical stage when the birds damage the sorghum. So when they come and taste the sorghum during that stage, the tannins are too high, so they will not feed on it. Then, once the sorghum starts maturing, the levels of tannins goes down up to when you are going to harvest your sorghum.
By mid this year, some were harvesting their crops with yields double what they got in 2023, simply because they changed how they farmed and not what they farmed. I also saw something I did not expect. young people embracing urban farming, but on their own terms. In Kitui County, I met Daniel Karanja, who is pioneering what is known as sub-zero farming. This is where crops are grown with minimal land, water and inputs, but with maximum results.
We plant in containers, so we also play our tiny role in recycling or putting plastic waste into functional use. We've been able to contain the roots in containers, in plastic containers, because we are able to supply these roots with the nutrients and minerals that they deserve to sustain plant growth and development up to maturity. We are practicing contemporary urban farming. What we envision is producing food using limited spaces. So we want to play our role in ensuring that this country is food secure. The food that we produce is easily accessible.
I was amazed by how this youth is aggressive and somehow unbothered by tradition, even as he pursues his urban farming ambition. It felt like it's a glimpse of the agriculture that Kenya will rely on, especially in the next decade. "2025 was also the year I saw county-level value addition explode. In Laikipia County, I met a group of women who are redefining what it means to farm sustainably by rearing crickets. They are value-adding the insects to make protein flour for human consumption.
And the reason as why we rear crickets is because crickets do not need more space. You cannot migrate them like livestock, and they are rich in protein. Due to climatical change, it is very hard to get milk for the children. But because crickets are very rich in protein, we feed to our chicken. We get very healthy eggs to feed our children. We are also planning to do animal feeds and children porridge and biscuits so that children cannot suffer from malnutrition.
I somehow felt these are the ventures that are needed to grow the rural towns in Kenya as they attract more farmers in agribusiness. But as the year unfolded, the patterns became clearer. Access to affordable inputs kept coming up. Delayed payments from cooperatives remained a frustration. And everywhere I went, farmers told me one thing: policies sound good in Nairobi, but implementation is what is lacking.
Kwa saa hii tuseme kwa county government walikuwa wanatusaidia na mbegu, lakini zile mbegu walikuwa wanatusaidia nazo sio haziambatani na zile climate change zenye ziko. So kama wakulima tukiwa ground tuko na changamoto, hatuoni usaidizi wa serikali na wa county government. Tuko hapo tumeachiliwa tu kama wakulima na ndio tunateseka kwa ground.
Now that statement changed me. It reminded me that behind every policy paper, every government directive or every press briefing, there are actually lives depending on what actually happens on the ground. This year taught me that the future of our food is being written by 4 key people. The farmer, who changes how they farm before the climate forces them to. The youth, who sees agribusiness not as survival, but as an enterprise. The innovators, turning raw produce into wealth. And finally, the policy makers, who understand that coordination and implementation matter more than pronouncements. As we head into a new year, I believe Kenya's agricultural future is changing, and so are the stories waiting to be told. Dennis Otieno, Citizen TV.
Interesting analysis there by Dennis Otieno, and indeed interesting ventures. So let's take another quick break. When we come back, we're talking about some sporting action in just a bit, so don't go too far.
A comfortable diaper can make a significant difference in your baby's happiness.
Choose diapers that are soft to the touch and have stretchy sides to provide a snug but gentle fit.
New Soft Care Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
All day heat and sun damage your skin. Discover the freshest sunscreen. New Garnier Super UV Cooling Sunscreen. SPF 50 and brightening vitamin C to protect from sun damage. A light, refreshing texture for 8 hours of freshness. New Super UV Cooling Sunscreen. Stay protected and fresh even under the sun. By Garnier.
A common sign of sensitivity is a short, sharp pain to hot and cold. A lot of my patients have changed a lot of habits. They are no longer eating cold foods, popsicles, things that they love to eat. If you do nothing about it, it will get worse. Sensodyne works by creating a protective layer over the sensitive areas of the teeth. You can go back to eating ice cream and drinking beverages that have ice in it. I recommend Sensodyne for anybody who's suffering from sensitivity.
Kuwa Mkenya ni kujitambua na kujua kila moment inaweza kuwa ile moment. Pali stranger, ukuwa rafiki. Tunauza na kuinspire. Tuko connected kutoka mashinani hadi kwa streets. Na tukitokea, tunatokea wote. Na kama tumefika hapa, bali tunaenda ni mbali zaidi. Hapa hatungoji, tunasonga nayo. Na kesho, kama leo, tutakuwa pamoja. Popote ulipo, Safaricom.
Invest in your skills through online courses, certifications, and workshops to stay competitive in today's job market.
Happy holidays from Zetech University. Join our January 2026 intake and be part of a generation inventing tomorrow today. Zetech University, inventing the future together.
We're kicking your year off
in all her glory
with more because we got you.
You get it?
You know that. We got kicks. We got scores. We got action. We got roars.
It's my specialty.
We got drama. We got fun. We got more for everyone with an upgrade on us just for you. More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay.
We got you.
DSTV, we got you all the way.
Would you like to work in Dubai or Saudi? M-Ajira is connecting you with top employers in these and many more countries. We have openings for jobs as taxi drivers, bike riders, cleaners, security guards, construction, and many more. We offer full recruitment support from application, placement, and guidance on visa processing and onboarding. To apply, visit our website www.m-ajira.com. Complete your profile and our systems will automatically match you to the right jobs. Find us on TikTok at m-ajira.digital or Facebook at m-ajira or call 0709-488881 for more information. M-Ajira, your gateway to credible global opportunities.
My name is Maura. I am from Fisco Africa. Where I am is a project by Fisco Africa called Vantage View. Very scenic place with 8 acres, quarter acres, half acres, and commercial. So we have 3 dams out of this area. We have a tarmac road that is over there. That tarmac is called Juja Gatudu Road. We have plots that we've subdivided for half an acre and 1 acre. And all those are commercial. We have a space for a private school, hospital. We have space for a resort and a sports club. This is a place can call our
Acha buzz mingi. Bring what you got. Ukonyeshe who's boss. Reclaim your home. Rated strikes like lightning. Kills Dudu's dead. Available in stores countrywide.
Wacha nikwambie, KC Lemon and Ginger imeingia kama nothing you've ever tasted before. Ni watu flavorful, wale wana mix it up watu wa luku, reggae leo, gengeton kesho. Jaribu KC Lemon and Ginger leo, 320 bob ya quarter na 840 ya mozinga. Inapatikana kwa lokoli yako au ke.thebar. Kenya Ken, the true Kenyan spirit since 1976.
It's big, bigger than you can imagine. It's massive. It's the biggest jackpot. Shabiki Super Jackpot sahi ni 100 million. Yes, predict 17 games na 99 bob na ujishikie 100 million. Bonuses ni from 13th correct prediction. Na ukipata zote wrong, usiwori, bado kuna bonus. Hii ndio jackpot. Shabiki Super Jackpot is now at 100 million. To play, download app ya Shabiki on Play Store or SMS SJP to 29063.
Gaming is addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under the age of 18. Shabiki.com is authorized and regulated by BCLB. License number BK 0001080.
I really need to get out of this situation. Please help me.
Is that all you need me for? Katika Equity Afya, tumeweka afya jamii mbele kwa kuletea huduma bora za afya karibu nawe na kwa bei nafuu. Tembelea Equity Afya, your caring health partner.
Thanks for staying with the Monday Report. Time for some sporting action. And Nairobi United has unveiled 3 new signings in the January transfer window, days after releasing 9 players. Uganda Cranes defender Mustafa Kiza joins Naiboys together with midfielder Roy Okal and John Njuguna. Kiza impressed Naiboys while playing for NEC FC of Uganda in the CAF Confederations Cup and landed in Nairobi on Monday to sign for the FKF Cup champions. Experienced midfielder Roy Okal has been snapped from struggling Sofapaka and is expected to add some stability in the Nairobi United midfield. Now, winger John Njuguna has been signed from Tusker FC to add some firepower and speed on the wings. Nairobi United are currently 9th in the league after playing 11 matches.
As a player, I would like to achieve maybe winning a trophy, because they also won the trophy coming to the Premier League. So I would also love to win something with the club.
It's been a while, nimekuwa nje, so getting this opportunity, I don't take it for granted. And it feels nice to be here. Looking forward to start.
And Kenya Darts history maker David Munywa has called on the government through the Ministry of Sports to support the growth of the sport, which is gaining a lot of followers countrywide. Speaking upon returning from the Professional Darts Corporation World Darts Championship in the United Kingdom, Munywa has called for the streamlining of the discipline in order to benefit more untapped talent. The unranked Kenyan debutant stunned Belgian Mike Decker after coming from behind to secure a 3-2 win in their round 1 tie. Decker is Belgium's top-ranked darts player and also the world number 18. Munywa's win announced Kenya's introduction at the world stage of darts.
Kuna mambo mengi sana ya darts yenye sasa inafaa kuzingatiwa. wachezaji wako ni wengi wenye tunajua wako na uwezo wa kufanya vyenye ama vyema zaidi ya vyenye mimi nilifanya. So serikali iko na jukumu kubwa sana ya kusupport, kuweka pesa. Haijakuwa ikiweka pesa kwa mchezo, sasa iweke pesa na mikakati yenye itakuwa inazingatia kila mchezaji bahati popote ako nchini.
Additionally, we've only ever had one spot for the PDC World Championships to be shared across all Africa. But because of what happened, PDC have allowed us a second spot, which pretty much guarantees a Kenyan there every year.
Now, former Harambee Stars players have urged all stakeholders in the sports sector to go down to the grassroots in search of emerging talent as a key step towards improving the standards of sports in the country. Speaking at Ibeno grounds in Ibeno Ward, Nyariwari Chache sub-county, that's in Kisii County, during the finals of the Ibeno Ward football tournament, former national team stars said Kenya has abundant talent that remains untapped due to lack of structured talent scouting systems. The legends also called for comprehensive and continuous training of coaches at all the levels, saying that this is critical in nurturing disciplined and technically sound players.
Ni sisi kuleta mpira hapa nchini inde kwa level lingine, lazima tulipane mashinani, lazima tunashana vijana, si tournament pekee.
Kwanza lazima tuwapatie makoches mafunzo, kwa sababu huyu mchezaji unamwangalia wakati anafanya ball control, unaona ako na hiyo idea, lakini utakuta ni kitu kidogo hajaonyeshwa na sio makosa yake.
Kipi hao vijana wetu vile wamefunga shule wakibu fit ama busy, kwa sababu wangekuwa idle, wangekuwa anaenda huko.
Tumeshukuru na ushauri wao. Ile kitu muhimu wamesema, chochote unachofanya lazima uwe na discipline, ndio kitu ya muhimu. Vijana wetu sasa wa Ibeno wamepata mafunzo, sio wa Ibeno peke yake, ni dunia mzima.
Now, the 2025 FKF Youth League's regional finals were held across several parts of the country, with champions crowned in Mombasa, Turkana, Nakuru, Kakamega and Kisumu. As the season approaches its conclusion, the FKF Youth Leagues are a part of the Federation's Youth Development Program, supported through the FIFA Talent Development Scheme, TDS, and features boys and girls competitions in the under-13, under-15 and under-17 age categories. The regional finals mark the closing phase of the current Youth League competition model. FKF is set to transition into a revised youth development structure aimed at strengthening talent identification and player progression, with further details to be communicated in due course.
You know, it's a long-term thing, because we are thinking to create a clear pathway from grassroots to elite, having all stars for all centers so that they can compete, and also scout players to feed our national teams. We have good under-17, but we need to have good feeders from our centers.
I think good for our children here at the community, because most of us when we grew up hatukuwa na chance ya kucheza such leagues. Mimi feel ni something good to introduce such leagues kwa community, because ina help our vijana wetu.
National office can do is to get scouts into those games, into those leagues, and select good players. Then those good players can be taken to a center, probably now a branch center.